Good morning, brothers and sisters. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mona, and I'm grateful for the beautiful prayer to open up this sacrament meeting. Elder Dale G. Renlund said, "When we gather our family histories and go to temple on behalf of our ancestors, God fulfills promised blessings simultaneously on both sides of the veil." Now, I'm sure many of you have watched or at least heard of Disney's movie Coco, and if you haven't yet, then I highly recommend watching it because I really like that movie. So basically, in the movie Coco, young Miguel simply loves music, but his family has a mysterious ban on anyone from their clan performing music. The band dates back for many generations, yet Miguel dreams of becoming an accomplished musician just like his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz. Longing to prove his musical talents, Miguel finds himself in the Technicolor land of the dead. Along his way, he meets the charming trickster Hector, and together they set out to find the real story behind his family's mysterious ban on music. Throughout this story, Miguel continues to learn a little bit more about his past, and he comes to not only develop a deeper love for his family, but throughout his experience, he develops a personal relationship for his ancestors and their trials, while also discovering a bit more of himself in the process. Brothers and sisters, I have taken this story and basically put it into my own terms of spiritual analogy and for our own spiritual experiences as we immerse ourselves in family history and temples. Just as Miguel was adventuring through the land of the dead, we too can experience a spiritual journey as we go to the temple and partake in this work that goes beyond the veil. We have ancestors past the veil who haven't had the opportunity during their mortal life to partake of the eternal blessings that we can, such as baptism. So we can be the ones to open the doors for them. Just like the popular song, "Remember Me" from Coco, we have those beloved ones past the veil calling for us to engage in helping them as well as ourselves in temple work and family history. To remember them, the heavens really do open up when we do the work for our ancestors. Our beloved prophet has continued to guide and instruct us to immerse in temple work and family history, and as we do, we will increase our capability to hear him. Not only that, but we are also participating in helping to gather Israel on both sides of the veil. I know that since the pandemic, the temples have basically been limited, but we still can enlist in the battalion to gather Israel and participate in gathering Israel by working on our family history and doing genealogy work for our ancestors. And we too can be the ones to record our history for future generations by journaling. Now, I come from a big, loving family, and family reunions are pretty big, so it was such a thrill for me to discover and meet so many relatives via Zoom during the pandemic from all over the world. New Zealand, Tonga, London, California, Washington, and Utah, to name a few places where these family members live. What was even more exciting was listening to their stories of beloved ones who have passed through the veil. As I immersed myself in these stories of ancestors, my understanding and love for them increased, and I began to understand their struggles. Brothers and sisters, I cherish stories I get to hear about my family history, the places they come from, their faith, their different religions, their many sacrifices, their educations, talents, cultures, and traditions. I grew up listening to my family members share their stories that have helped me become grateful for the things that I have, because of their legacy of love and sacrifices for me to be here. I'm always reminded through the Book of Mormon stories to keep records for my descendants so they can always have something to say, as Coco would sing, "Remember Me by." Brothers and sisters, my perspective has changed just from my family history, and I am amazed by the Lord's plan for families to be together forever. I hope to be blessed with more time to engage into my family's history. I'm not only fascinated by so many stories, but it has also solidified my love for my family and helped me to develop a love for my elders and where I come from. I was connecting to these family members through Zoom and realized that it's just a glimpse of the great and marvelous work God has in store for all of his children to be together again with him and our families on both sides of the veil one day. I hope I am inspired even more after being given this opportunity to reflect on my family history, to learn more and do more, whether it's temple work or family history and genealogy work. I invite every single one of you to join me and just try to learn at least one new thing about an ancestor, whether it's calling grandma and asking what her grandparents were like, or reading a journal entry that an ancestor left behind. And I know that through this process, we can develop a deeper love and understanding for those past the veil and for those we still have with us in this mortal life. With that, I've got a quote from our prophet in which he said that service in the temple and family history work will open the heavens to you. I would like to bear my testimony that I know temples are a sacred place in the house of the Lord. I am grateful for the eternal blessing that families can be together forever. I'm grateful for our forefathers in the Book of Mormon and their faith, efforts, struggles, and examples. I'm grateful for a living prophet to guide and strengthen us in these latter days. I know that as we immerse ourselves in our family history and participate in temple work, the heavens will be open and our hearts shall turn to our ancestors and their hearts shall turn to ours. I am forever grateful for the atonement of Jesus Christ, and I say these things in the name of Christ, amen.